Hello, my name is Jenna Paul, and I'm an Associate Director in the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships at Grand Valley State University. I'm excited to be talking with you right now, high school seniors, about financial aid information and what you can expect and what you can plan for in this upcoming year. A couple things on my agenda. I'm going to talk about the FAFSA application, what it is, give you instructions on how to file it, different types of financial aid, a couple important dates for you to be aware of in this upcoming year. And then my last slide is contact information. In case you do have questions, we can help answer them. The first thing I want to start out by saying is paying for a college is a partnership. There are many different sources of student financial aid. The student is one. Parents. The federal government is another source by filing that FAFSA application. The state government, universities and colleges offer financial aid for students, and then others. There are other outside scholarships and other resources that are available for students and families to utilize. What is the FAFSA application? The burning question on everybody's mind. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. And I want to point out that first word, free. It's a free application. Financial aid offices everywhere are able to help you answer your questions and get that filled out. There are services out there that you can pay for, and we would encourage you not to pay to have this FAFSA filled out. We are here to help you. So this FAFSA application is necessary to be considered for federal, state, and other types of institutional aid. So keep that in mind. It's a great application to file. We encourage everyone to do so. It has to be refiled and renewed each academic year. So during your senior year in high school, that FAFSA is going to open on October 1. The state of Michigan priority deadline is March 1. And we encourage you to get it filed in that time frame. The sooner the better. The FAFSA application every year uses tax returns from 2 years prior. So you can look on the slide to see which academic year FAFSA you're filing and which tax returns to use. So eligibility for financial aid, as I mentioned, is based on this FAFSA. And we're going to go over the formula, that estimated expected family contribution formula and the cost of attendance to give you a better idea of how financial aid is awarded. So the expected family contribution, that EFC, like the slide says, it's an index number that college financial aid offices and the federal government and states use to determine how much aid you are eligible for. Please note in that circle, it says this is not the amount that you will be paying out of pocket for you or your student to come to college. It's also not the amount of federal aid that you are going to receive. It's calculated using the FAFSA, and a couple different federal formulas go into it. So on the slide, there's a couple factors that you can see that determine an EFC. Income for both the student and the parent, taxes paid, asset information, household size, and the number in college. So this number, this EFC that's generated, is going to stay the same regardless of college. Okay? I'm going to go on to the next slide now and talk about cost of attendance. And then the following slide is going to show the EFC and the cost of attendance put together and how universities and colleges use that to determine a financial aid award. So every school, every college, every university has to come up with a cost of attendance. And this is going to include estimated costs that it's going to involve for a student to go to college. Tuition, room and board, books and supplies, transportation, personal expenses. So as you can see, the list of items included in the cost of attendance are not all direct costs. Some are indirect costs, personal expenses, transportation expenses. You know, the direct costs, the tuition, the housing, the dining, those are costs that are going to be on the bill. And those are costs that are going to need to be paid directly to the university, especially if your student is living on campus. Those non-direct costs, those indirect costs, the books and supplies need to be purchased. Personal expenses, those are all included in a cost of attendance because that figure is going to be what it's reasonably going to cost a student to attend a college or university for a year. Each college comes up with their own. So it's going to be different depending on the college or the university that you're going to go to. And then the formula, so looking at the cost of attendance minus that EFC figure from the FAFSA, that's going to be a student's eligibility for need-based aid. And that's why filing the FAFSA is so important. So here's a couple of different examples of what I mean by need-based aid. And I had referenced the fact that that EFC figure is going to be the same regardless of college or university being attended. And I had referenced the fact that the cost of attendance is going to be different based on the college or university that the student attends. And so here is a chart showing the differences between cost of attendance with a 9,000 EFC as determined by the FAFSA. So at a community college with a lower cost of attendance, a 9,000 EFC is going to result in zero need-based aid. So that community college is going to say, well, our cost of attendance is less than that EFC. So the student's not eligible for need-based aid. Now at a public university, a public institution, they're going to have a higher cost of attendance. So a 9,000 EFC is going to get you a little further as far as need-based aid. And at a private college or institution, it's going to get you even further. And so that's why, using this example, we encourage everyone to file the FAFSA to see what aid they may qualify for. So let's take a look now at the FAFSA on the web and a couple different screenshots of what you can expect when you go in to file. studentaid.gov/FAFSA is going to be that website that you are going to go to fill out the application. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to need to submit it each year. Each year it's going to open on October 1st. The state of Michigan priority deadline is March 1. If you plan on attending a college or university in a different state, I would encourage you to look up what their state priority deadlines are, as they may be different than the state of Michigan. Before you begin filing the FAFSA, you're going to need to apply for an FSA ID. The student will need their own, as well as a parent signing the FAFSA. So you will each need to apply for your own FSA ID. And the website is on the screen, fsaid.ed.gov. So this FSA ID is very important. You're going to use it, as I mentioned, to file the FAFSA. If you borrow federal loans as a student, you're going to use that to sign for the loans. As a parent, if you choose to borrow a PLUS loan, you are going to use that to sign for that PLUS loan. This FSA ID is going to be used in the renewal FAFSA each year to log on and to complete that application year after year. As I mentioned, each FSA ID requires a different email address, and because it's one that you are going to continue to use year after year after year, if you are a student right now and the email address you are using is from your high school, I would strongly encourage you to create a web-based email address that you can use to create your FSA ID, because this email address, like I said, will stick with you. So a Gmail or a Yahoo or a Hotmail, I would encourage you to create a webmail email address to use for this FSA ID. And here's a screenshot of when you log into the FSA ID, how it's going to look. We strongly encourage you to double check and triple check Social Security numbers that get entered, birth dates that get entered. One wrong digit or misplaced or swap digit is going to cause you problems down the line, unfortunately. If you type in a wrong Social Security number on the FSA ID, it's not going to link up to the FAFSA. And that's the most common frustration when families and students create an FSA ID and then go on to the FAFSA, is they don't link up. So be sure to double check and triple check all of those numbers that you enter. When you go through the FAFSA, it'll walk you through step by step how to complete the items, where to get the items, how to use the IRS data retrieval, and we're happy to answer any of the questions that you may have along the way. Once you get to the end, you're going to use that FSA ID to sign and submit it. And so each parent and student is going to have to sign and submit on their own. So the student is going to sign and submit, the parent is going to sign and submit, and then you can see on the slide what it looks like when you're completed. You're going to get the green circles with the check mark to know that it's been completed. And from there you can submit it. You'll get a congratulations notice that you have submitted it successfully. It'll give you information on your EFC, and it'll tell you what is next. It's going to tell you what happens with that FAFSA once it's completed. So I'll go a little further into the next steps after completing your application. The financial aid offices that you select to receive that application, you can select up to 10 schools to receive your FAFSA. So those schools are going to get your FAFSA application. So pay attention to what you hear back from any of those schools that you submitted it to. Different schools may request different supplemental portions for that FAFSA application. So if you submit it to 10 schools, you can expect to hear back from 10 different schools. So pay attention. Some may be requesting different items than others. So pay attention to what you receive. Once the FAFSA is completed as determined by the school, they will make a financial aid award to you. For high school seniors, that could happen anywhere from November or December into January or February. So you could get financial aid notices for the next couple weeks and months after you submit that FAFSA. You'll receive your award notification after the schools award you aid. That could come either electronically or in the mail via paper, so keep a lookout for that. And that's going to give you time to look at the different financial aid award offers that you receive and really evaluate those awards. Take the time to compare the different costs, compare the out-of-pocket costs versus the awards or the institutional aid that you receive. And that's real important to do when you think back to my slide that showed the cost of attendance at all of the different schools. You know, a higher financial aid award may not mean a cheaper college attendance. So really take that to heart and pay attention to the costs versus the awards you're receiving. Once you make a decision on which college or university you want to attend, be sure to accept that financial aid. Because once you accept that financial aid, there may be some further steps that you need in order to get that aid to pay. I had mentioned using your FSA ID to sign for the loans. And so I'm going to hop right now into different types of financial aid. And we're going to talk about different things that you may see on your financial aid award notice. So you may see grants. If you qualify for a federal Pell Grant, the FAFSA will determine that. That will be on your financial aid award. You may see institutional grants, and that would be another free money thing that you don't have to pay back. So grants are based on financial need as determined by the FAFSA application. Scholarships, another great thing to see, another free money aspect of an award that you don't have to repay. Scholarships are going to be based on special talents or merit. Those are the things that scholarships are going to be based on, or based simply on applying. There are many scholarship databases that are out there for students to apply to see if they will be qualified to receive a scholarship. So definitely be on the lookout starting now for scholarships that you can apply for the college or university that you want to attend. I had mentioned loans. Loans is borrowed money from the federal government or another source, a private source like a bank, that has to be repaid, generally with interest. Now, the FAFSA offers two different kinds of loans for the student, the subsidized and the unsubsidized, and it's going to offer a loan for the parent. That subsidized loan for the student is going to be based on need, and every freshman, every incoming student to college will be eligible for $5,500 in a student loan, a combination of subsidized and unsubsidized, and then the parent loan as well. So another type of financial aid actually is working. Students may qualify for federal work study in which they can get a job on campus. They get a paycheck every other week from the department that employs them, but the department is getting money from the federal government to help pay those wages. So by filing the FAFSA, you may qualify for federal work study, which as an employer may be interested in hiring a student that has federal work study because not all of the wages come out of that budget. I want to talk a little bit further into the timeline. I had mentioned that FAFSA application, the state of Michigan priority deadline is March 1. Regardless of if you're filing the FAFSA for a college in Michigan or not, the sooner the better. I would encourage you to file it in October, November, or December. That will give you plenty of time to get any required information back to the school or back to the FAFSA application to complete that. Also, beginning on October 1 is when a lot of scholarship applications open for the upcoming academic year. So that really is the time to start looking. You will want to see if a scholarship is going to require, a letter of recommendation or possible community service hours. And you're going to want to make sure that you have time to get that done before a likely deadline of March 1 to get that scholarship submitted. January through April is when you're going to be receiving those financial aid award notices from the colleges. You're going to be reviewing them, you're going to be comparing them, you're going to be making final decisions. By May 1, generally, students have confirmed attendance at a college by signing up for their new student orientation. And by doing so, you are confirming that you want to come to the college, you want to register for classes, and you want to be enrolled in that university. I have covered a lot of information, but I am sure you may have further questions. I hope that you have found this helpful. I hope that you are feeling confident and ready to get online and file the FAFSA and compare financial aid awards. However, we are always here to help. We would be happy to answer your questions on filing the FAFSA or on financial aid in general, whether or not you or your student are attending Grand Valley. Grand Valley is a community partner, and we are happy to answer any questions you may have. We are always here to help and look forward to hearing from you and possibly meeting you in the future. Good luck, your senior students, on your final year in high school. Congratulations, enjoy the ride, and best wishes.